About 40 years ago, Michael Bell decided to drop everything and study the art of Japanese sword making. In the late 80s, he moved to the Oregon coast to practice the ancient art of turning steel into swords and to teach others how to do it. Reporter Frank Knight brings us his story.
My name is Michael Bell. I'm a Nihon Tosho, a Japanese swordsmith. This is my 40th year of endeavoring in this profession. The question is, why did I become a swordsmith, is one I've been asked multiple times, and in many ways it's the most difficult to answer. Actually, I had a recording contract with MCA Records when I met my teacher, and that was the end of that. I became, I dropped what I was doing and became his student. I slept on his floor. I ate miso soup every morning for breakfast. Just changed my life, but it wasn't anything I'd planned to do. American smiths have always, had to start somewhere, and that somewhere is not importing expensive Japanese sword steel. Instead, we were forced to use modern tool steel, as some makers do. I was looking for something a little more interesting, something tougher, something that had some beauty in it. And I had started experimenting with forge welding logging cable, approximately 25 years ago, to achieve several ends. One of them is to make a superior sword, both in its function as a cutting weapon, but also superior in beauty and the color and the phenomena that can actually happen in a well-forged piece of steel. There's art involved in it. One of the things that's important to me is when I was apprenticed to my teacher, Mr. Nakajima, he told me that I should teach what I was learning, that I should pass it on. And I took that to heart. By the way, we refer to it in English as the Dragonfly Forge School of Swordsmithing, but it also has another moniker in Japanese, which is Tomboyama Nihon to Tanren Dojo. Well, I live here because I like the peace and quiet of the country. I get my inspiration for my art here. The hamon, the style of hardened edge, which is distinctive to each school, is actually inspired by the hills and the mist. I just like the peace and quiet. And people want to study, they will come. And they do. And we have students that come from all over the world, from Europe. We had 2 from Germany last year. We're having a couple from Canada this year, but all over the United States, every walk of life, but tremendous number of professionals. Dentists and orthodontists have great hands. We've had students as young as 13 or 14 and older than 65.
Dragonfly Force is located in Coquille. For more information, visit Michael's website, listed below. What if every time you took a bite of toast or indulged in spaghetti and meatballs, you had a horrible allergic reaction? That's the reality for many millions of Americans who suffer from gluten allergies. Reporter Abby Silverman takes a look at how people live without gluten and what options they have for a healthy lifestyle.
Since I was 3, that's when I first started getting sick and really weak, like I couldn't really even crawl upstairs. My parents had me tested, and I have cousins with milk allergies and stuff, so they tried all that stuff, and just really luckily we found a pediatrician who thought to test this, because back then a lot of people, even doctors, weren't really aware of it. So
Rob suffers from celiac disease, an allergy to gluten that 13 million Americans live with today. Gluten is a protein found in wheat, rye, and barley, and can also be found in hundreds of processed foods. Allie found out she was allergic to gluten a year ago, and she says she had no idea how much eliminating gluten from her diet would change her lifestyle.
The biggest adjustment was just learning all the little things about gluten-free, things you would normally think about, like soy sauce or caramel coloring, or certain syrups in drinks and stuff like that. It was kind of hard to get to know.
As challenging as it may be to find gluten-free foods, University of Oregon nutritionist Jessica Wilson says that eating gluten-free isn't necessarily a bad thing.
There are many possibilities for foods. It will likely limit your ability to find packaged foods, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially when there's 47,000 food products in our society made from a small myriad of actual foods. And so this is a fantastic way to, one, for you, getting more in touch with your food and sharing with your others what you can actually do with food.
I shop a lot of Trader Joe's. They have like rice pasta and just a lot of food that doesn't have wheat in it. But then Capella's on Willamette has tons of gluten-free stuff. They actually have like specific little blue dots on all their foods. They have gluten-free, frozen noodle dishes, donuts, cookies.
Rob says the most challenging part of being gluten-free is the ability to go out and grab a quick bite.
It's really just like convenience, and whether it's like stopping with friends at some place, whether there's really anything I can eat that really fills me up. I think that that's probably the hardest thing.
As gluten-free awareness becomes more prominent in our society, more options are appearing for gluten-free eaters. Go Healthy Cafe is a restaurant dedicated to providing customers with delicious meals free of gluten.
Very few people that understand what it means to be gluten-free. Number two, there's very few restaurants that are set up to be able to provide you a gluten-free meal that can reduce the chances of cross-contamination.
Travis says that it was his own diagnosis of celiac disease which inspired him to open Go Healthy Cafe.
I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Eliminate gluten. What the heck, you know? The next day I went grocery shopping and it was a whole different story. And then I realized that life has changed. And with gluten, it's a life-changing thing for the rest of your life. So with that, I just discovered in town there's no convenient place to eat.
Travis says that it's the restaurant's mission to provide gluten-free diners with delicious and safe meals.
One lady came up and said, I haven't had a sandwich for 16 years, thank you. And we're changing people's lives. I never thought I could change someone's life with a plate of food.
Ready for dessert? Local bakery Divine Cupcake provides customers allergic to gluten something sweet without the risk of getting sick.
There are a lot of people in this town and all over the world that realized that a lot of their digestive problems were just from an allergy to wheat or celiac disease, and they deserve to have sweets too. And so we make food that almost everybody can eat.
Deborah says that it's Divine Cupcake's special blend of alternative ingredients that make their gluten-free cupcakes so tasty.
We have our own special mixture of potato starch, tapioca flour, and white rice flour, but it works really well. Our chocolate cupcakes, the first time that I ate them, I didn't believe that they were gluten-free, and I was really nervous, but they're just really delicious. And it's, sometimes gluten-free stuff that you get at the store is kind of dry and tasteless, but somehow we've found a way to make it delicious and wonderful, and you don't really miss the gluten at all. I just think everybody should have the opportunity to eat something sweet somewhere where they don't have to make it themselves.
With all kinds of alternative food options for the gluten intolerant, Jessica Wilson says that there's no risk to gluten-free eaters of losing important nutrients.
So there's not going to be any chance that they're going to be missing out on anything by being gluten-free, except for pizza nights and things that are unfortunately very popular amongst college-age students. So,
apart from learning to live without pizza and beer, Rob has this advice to offer to those who are just becoming aware of their allergy to gluten.
I think I would first try to figure out what you already eat that you can maybe eat more of to not really adjust your schedule and what you're used to so bad. So, if obviously like potatoes and corn and rice and meat products and different things like that, like find out what you really still enjoy to eat and focus more on that.
Living without gluten is a challenging adjustment for those who suffer from allergic reactions. But being gluten-free is well worth the extra time and effort if it means keeping those with allergies to gluten feeling healthy and happy.
I think that it's helpful when folks are able to discuss their intolerances and because somebody right next to you might have the same symptoms and have just thought that it was irritable bowel for years, and that's what they've been told, but it's actually not. And you can do something about this, and you can live better, and you can feel better on a daily basis.
Abby Silverman reporting for Oregon Extra.
To become more aware about gluten-free living, you can visit the website listed below.